This is Lucas Casstevens with Summit Commerce Partners. I think cold SMS is probably better than email and calling. I think it's also really good to maybe teach to beginners in case they have cold feet. And yeah, emails below both of them. So let's start with cold SMS. I'm going to teach you how to do it. So there's a rule of 100. Send 100 of whatever you're doing a day. 100 cold outreach messages, whether that's calling, email, whatever it is. If you're knocking on doors, do 100 doors. Or if your client acquisition comes from mostly ad spend, set $100 a day ad budget. And when you are doing 100 of whatever of your cold outreach every day, here's how you do it. You want to lead with value, and you want to keep a conversational tone, specifically in cold SMS. How you lead with value is you make your offer something that would not really make sense to say no to. So you want to give them something so valuable, preferably free, that it would kind of be unsensical or illogical of them to say no to. So you can do a pre-completed service if you're doing like white label SaaS. You could have the product already completed, send over to them. You could give them guides that'll help them. You could directly mention what a competitor is doing, or if you're running ads for them, you could send them like samples of the ads you've already made. So you can make like a TikTok video for them. You can make like an Instagram story for them, anything like that. When you're doing SMS, it's not like email where you have like 2 or 3 paragraphs to send them. You want to keep it relatively short. So in terms of your tone, just make sure it's informal and very, very personalized. Always very personalized, always. So here's a template I made. Name of owner. I noticed company name is doing specific, and I thought you may benefit from service. Introduce yourself. I've helped similar businesses, and then shortly explain the value that they get from that services. So if you're selling ads, you could say, I've helped similar businesses scale and collect local leads from Instagram stories or whatever. And right here, by the way, company name could be either their name or a competitor name. So I noticed your company name is doing a specific thing on their website. If they're somehow generating leads from their website, I thought you may benefit from the same thing on Instagram, then tell them how you can do that. Or a competitor of theirs is doing something that works, and thought you may benefit from the same thing that works. When you send this text, you want to follow back up within 48 hours. Don't be too pushy. People don't send them like, gifts or, be like, hey, why haven't you responded? Send this. You could do something like this. Hey, I know things get busy. Specifically with like cleaning and like moving companies, I'm working with them a lot lately. I could say, hey, I know things get busy in the spring. So I just wanted to check whether this is something you still want to come back to, or if now's not the right time. Either way is absolutely fine. I just don't want to miss him. Something like that. Or you could follow up with value again. The second option would probably be a little bit better. Hey, I just saw this case study on how competitor, similar business, added 30 hours back to their week using blah, blah, blah. That could be any automation tool. Thought it might be relevant to that problem that we discussed. No need to reply, just thought you found it useful. And then you'd attach a case study or a guide or something like that. I used to do door to door, and I was one of the top reps before I went off to start doing everything online. And this is very true to deal with this because we were always taught that if someone says not interested straight off the block, don't take it as an objection because it's not really an objection as much as it is a defense mechanism. From there, you'll have to drop your guard, so they'll drop theirs as well. And there are 2 ways to do this. You could either say something like outrageous that's like unrelated, like, oh yeah, I know the weather's horrible today, or something like that, even if it's sunny. And then the other way to do it is just kind of in a friendly way, just tell them why you're there. So if they say, oh, I'm not interested, you can go, yeah, no problem. That's actually why I'm calling. I'm assuming, like most businesses, you've looked into X at some point. They may say, yeah, it was just too expensive. And if they say no, just act surprised and be like, oh, why not? Act like they've just told you they've never drank water. So you could say, oh, no way, everyone I've been speaking to said the same thing until, they found out that we recently made X change, which has made it a lot more affordable. I'm assuming if you don't get X outcome, it didn't break the bank like everyone else. And you'd be pretty happy, right? So now they've completely forgot they said they weren't interested, and they're curious because they don't want to be left out if everyone else is doing it.